Bluey is a show that many sing with praise when watching just about any episode. From emotional ones,
I promise I'll always love you.
simply fun ones,
Yow! Bluey!
or even ones that are just plain silly.
Oh dear.
However, there is one episode that is often seen as the black sheep from the fans of the show, and that is Blue Mountains. Blue Mountains is an episode that many fans often look at and deem as their least favorite episode,
Oh man.
or their worst episode in the entire show. And frankly, it's a sentiment I share as well. There are certain aspects in the show that are missed due to this episode's unique storytelling and paradigm shift with the art that doesn't occur with similar episodes such as Escape. And you'll all know how much I love the art style in the Escape episode since I always mention it when getting fan art in that style. However, the fun thing about Bluey is that the worst episode isn't a bad piece of media. I'd say it's still a 6 or 7 out of 10 at least. It's just the bar is set so high for the standard within Bluey
Hey, what? This wasn't this low before.
that compared to everything else we've seen in the show, this one has the least charm and for me, the least rewatchability. I started talking about Bluey due to my history of working with kids in a therapeutic setting, which has inspired me to start this series. And just like all deep dives, I will still be jumping into this with an analytical mindset, because the way I talk about my dislikes aren't quite the same as others. I'm not here to bash the episode, it's just not my style to do that. Heck, there's even a few lines that if you look deep enough, reveals a bit of Chili's viewpoint on her relationship with her own sister, so there's some interesting things you can take out of this episode. So instead, I will be giving a fair evaluation on why I think the creator made certain choices, and give my reasonings on why so many fans within the community find this episode less appealing as a whole. Plus, I want to do something a bit more lighthearted after my last couple of videos. But before we get into the foxes and caves of the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. You have no idea how much it helps me out to get these videos out to more fans like you. And let's get into why everyone seems to dislike Blue Mountains. This episode starts with the Healer family having a picnic in a rather unique setting that we never see before or again in the series, with this beautiful mountain range, most likely to mirror the real-life location of Blue Mountains, a world-famous mountain range found in Australia, where we approach the equally unique art style focus of the episode, as the camera switches focus to the Healer's family's hands.
Hi.
Where we'll be spending the majority of our time looking at, causing the first divide in opinions on this episode.
Be careful, little sister.
Because this is an aspect within the episode that people like me feels like it subtracts from its overall appeal, which I'll explain in a bit among other things. But despite this episode's general negative consensus online, I do have to state that this is an episode that marked quite high in Bluey Fest, a recent event to celebrate Bluey's 5-year anniversary that had people across the globe vote for their favorite episodes, and played the top voted 100 episodes in a big marathon. Whether the ones who voted for Blue Mountains was kids or parents, I'm unsure, but due to this difference in opinion, I decided to get some help from another content creator that likes this episode and actually has some really incredible things to say about it that I found to be quite enlightening, which is none other than Ben Tendo.
Hello everyone! Now before you start coming at me with your torches and pitchforks, yes, I'm the guy that put Blue Mountains over camping when I did my very first Bluey video. Does that opinion still hold today? No! No. Camping is a masterpiece of an episode, but even with that, I still really like Blue Mountains to this day. It could be the nostalgia goggles, but the wholesomeness and creativity behind Blue Mountains still remains strong to me. Yet with all that, I've come to realize how different Blue Mountains is, both positively and negatively. So I want to thank Pugly for allowing me to participate, not only to share my perspective on this episode, but to also do some soul searching and answer the question, why do I like one of the most disliked episodes of Bluey currently?
Now, as I said before, I'm really excited to have Ben here, because although I want to give an objective view on Blue Mountains, I fear that my less than stellar opinion on this episode would lead to negative connotations. thus fully preventing what I want, which is to give this episode a fair deep dive. But let's actually start with this art style change that makes this episode unique for better and for worse.
Now, as Pugly stated earlier, the most notable factor with Blue Mountains is the use of hand puppets, but not the kind we see in Bob Bilby or Unicorse. Instead, it goes for a more minimalist style, only using googly eyes and drawing on mouths with a marker. Going into the positives, I think it's a very unique way of storytelling, or the way they do it. They play a game, or have a journey, but on a microscopic level, which really leaves a lot to the imagination. Being in a limited space, such as a picnic in the middle of nowhere, the fact that these blue mountains with big walls and caves
It's a cave!
are just bandit is extremely clever and silly.
It's like we're bouncing on a massive pie-clit.
Along with that, while limited on facial expressions, the puppetry, or body language, is also very clever, even when I do question how they're able to bend their fingers in those directions. It's also very fascinating to see how Blue Mountains would pave the way for episodes such as Escape and Dragon, which delve even further into the creativity and fun that come with imagination. So, while I think it's effective for its time, a part of me is glad that they only did this once.
I'm not sure this is a good idea.
While this episode does have a super cool way to present their story, I feel like the focus on the hands almost draws me away from fully appreciating the magic of the episode, because while sometimes an episode's biggest strengths are due to the art style change within, like Escape where it's entirely kids' doodles,
That's what we chased Mom and Dad in.
and with Dragon where every single art style represents each person's skills as an artist.
How come you're such a good drawer?
Here we go, this is me. I'm 6 years old. I'm at school drawing pictures of cars.
That doesn't look like a car.
I kind of gave up drawing cars after that. Gave up drawing altogether, really.
And really complements the what happens when you give up and when you don't narrative.
I didn't give up. That's the difference.
But the same cannot be said for Blue Mountains, where I feel like it's the episode's biggest weakness. There's a disconnect in what can be displayed to what we're used to due to the limitations set by this new art style change, just being hands with googly eyes. Albeit extremely charming and creative, these hands cannot evoke the same feelings for me as the characters themselves. With that being said, I have to admit that when rewatching the episode, I actually laughed a ton during it and was having a really fun time watching. So it's generally a really funny episode.
Kindly Fox, is there something wrong with your voice?
No, I just like to talk like this sometimes.
It just, once again, was hard to find the charm in it when you are looking at just the hands. For example, look at how much emotion you see when you're looking at the hands here, and how much emotion you're seeing when you have the cutaway shots to the actual family. I always find myself smiling wider when it cuts to them during these bits, and a big reason for this is because you can see the body, eyebrows, mouth, eyelids all moving in conjunction with each other. A element we commonly see, but sometimes don't fully appreciate in other episodes, that are all important to fully expressing the flow of emotions, and even is used in this episode to fully sell the sassiness of Chili.
It's like we're bouncing on a massive pie-clit.
And even Bandit's reaction during these cutaways. With that being said, it's a limitation they needed to work with if they wanted to use this style, leading to some rather clever elements due to these limitations as stated by Bentendo. That does make this episode a pretty fun one, and it's an episode that pulls from that fun imagination you had as a kid, where anything, even your hands, can be the catalyst for the game you want to play. It encourages this creative philosophy with children and parents alike, an element that is found to help the development in children due to how imaginative play enhances the cognitive mind. Besides the art style change causing this episode to have less rewatchability for me, the plot is something that doesn't necessarily enthrall me either, unlike other episodes. I know talking with Bentendo, he put a couple things into perspective that allowed me to realize why the story is how it is, as he'll get into later. But the plot within almost feels like something akin to Dora the Explorer, where the group goes on an adventure, encounters roadblocks that requires creative solutions.
How are we gonna get past this big wall? How are we going to get through the school, Dora.
and even sports a fox-like antagonist.
I am a kindly fox.
While the main lesson being taught, which is a mix between allowing yourself to have fun
Maybe I do just need to relax and enjoy myself more.
in the main purpose of a sister and sister relationship, it just all feels more in your face than other lessons in Bluey. But it could all be a meta-humor commentary making fun of other children's shows like this, so it's really hard to fully judge. In my opinion, the main purpose of this episode is about fun and is to present an enjoyable experience to the audience, so I don't think this matters much. But I feel like other episodes are able to convey this fun-heavy nature while still being extremely impactful with its lessons.
I hope Turtle Boy's owner comes back soon.
Why's that?
I don't want him to be lonely.
I also feel like the sister and sister purpose of protecting little one and the significance of the bigger one looking after the little one is done in a cute way as the finale in the story and could reinforce how Chili views her relationship with her own sister Brandy.
I was so busy trying to be fun, I forgot the most important thing big sisters are meant to do.
What's that?
Look after their little sisters.
But all this and more I feel are done better in things like Bluey's Big Play, which also has the same sister and sister lesson.
When you're a little sister, having a big sister is like having your very own giant. They can pick you up, ooh, and you can see for miles. Ooh. You feel like a giant too.
I love it.
Now, I do understand where Pugly is coming from, but with the way the episode is structured and conveyed, I see it differently. Unlike most episodes in the series, I don't think this episode is meant to have a moral,
Oh, what?
as it feels like the girls already know how the journey is gonna play out. When big dramatic things happen, the girls don't seem affected by it. Looking at this at a positive angle, the family could be replicating something they saw on TV. Adding to what Pugly stated, the journey does feel Dora the Explorer-esque, right down to having a small fantasy sidekick,
Oh yes, a little fairy.
and an antagonist that's a sneaky fox.
Swiper, no swiping!
Oh, biscuits.
Looking at it from that perspective, this makes the episode very wholesome, as it's the family having a very fun time together, which aren't most episodes of Bluey like that. But looking at this from another angle, I think I can see why a lot of people don't like Blue Mountains. There is a lack of connection with the characters because of the lack of real conflict. We enjoy watching these characters because they feel real. They encounter problems that we all deal with at some point or another.
Why does Jean-Luc have to go?
Sometimes special people come into our lives, stay for a bit, and then they have to go.
But that's sad. Au revoir, Bluey.
And we see them learn and develop.
But the bit where they were here was happy, wasn't it?
Yeah. We caught a wild pig together.
Maybe that makes it all worth it.
And while the game they are playing involves conflict, none of the characters seem affected by it. It's just a simple little adventure, which I think decreases its rewatchability. Unlike Escape, where their conflict morphs into a game,
Why aren't you coming to Nana's?
Because your dad and I want to spend some time together.
With no kids allowed.
and by the end, the kids find a solution to their problem.
We're gonna come and join in.
I'm also reminded of The Adventure, where yes, Bluey and Chloe know how the story is gonna play out, but there was a real sense of wonder and adventure that really grabs your attention. Continuing with the episode's message, while important to know, it's not as effective or memorable because the kids already know this. Almost every episode has a character taking their experience as a learning moment,
But I was determined I'd get you walking before Judo's mum.
making them evolve as characters.
Were you upset with me that I lost the baby race?
No, sweetie. Look, we were all learning to do things for the first time.
Which there's a lack of here. Even with some of the most despised episodes of the show, like Charade and Wild Girls, the characters learn a valuable lesson and evolve. So I do agree with Pugly here that the message could have been told in a better way.
And they all slept happily ever after.
Now in tradition, we're at the part of the deep dive where we'll be going over all the Easter eggs and references in this episode, so let's get right into it. The reoccurring long dog Easter egg in this episode can be right away found at the very beginning behind Bluey, Chili, and Bingo, and reappears in the background during a couple different shots. On the official Bluey website, they use the hands to present the characters instead of the normal character models, which is just a beyond cute little detail that they added to the website. And I always appreciate the website because they always add little sprinkles of flavoring here and there on all the different pages. This next one isn't quite an Easter egg, but more of me pointing out an error, but when they're sliding down Bandit's leg, there are just a few frames where you can see Bluey's arm connected to nothing. And finally, when Chili refers to Bandit's soft and squishy belly, she calls it a pie clit.
It's like we're bouncing on a massive pie clit.
Which is a term unfamiliar to me as an American, because that essentially is an Australian/New Zealand cuisine that is like a small pancake. That's all the Easter eggs I could find, but if you buddies know of any that I didn't show here, please share it down below in the comments for us. I have to reinstate that all the elements that I say that are harsh towards the episode are factors that only affect its rewatchability for me. It's clearly an episode that others love. Heck, we even have Bentendo here as living proof for that. And admittedly, he was very enlightening from my own perspective on the episode in ways that I never realized. Like how it seems like it's a story that the sisters are trying to copy from what they've watched on TV, which I find to be beyond cool. Once again, I don't think it's a bad piece of media. I had a great time rewatching it for the purpose of making this video, and laughed the entire time. But for the high standard Bluey creates with the series, there's just so many different episodes that my mind goes to rewatch before this one.
Now, obviously, the show has changed majorly over the 5.5 years it's been on the air. It feels so bizarre how they've gone from the charming simplicity of Magic Xylophone all the way to the awe-inspiring tale of Cricket. Bluey has literally grown right along with its audience, telling more complex stories with each new season.
There's something Auntie Brandy wants more than anything as well, but she can't have it. And there's not really anything anyone can do.
Looking back, despite its simplicity, most of Season 1 still holds up very well, and in my eyes, Blue Mountains is no exception, flaws and all. While I completely understand why it has the reputation it gets, its simplistic yet wholesome plot still leaves me feeling warm and fuzzy inside. And even with other infamous subpar episodes, Bluey's quality and charm still shines through. And if Blue Mountains is your worst episode, then you're one heck of a fantastic show. I really want to thank Pugly for having me here. It was an experience getting to analyze and go further in depth with this episode than I ever have before. It really made me see Blue Mountains from a different point of view, both good and bad, and I may even like it more than ever now. But don't worry, it's still not camping good.
And I love what Bentendo says here. It certainly is not camping good, but gosh, he did an excellent job collaborating here with me. Please check out his channel. He does an amazing job on his own content, so I'd really appreciate it if you took the time to check out his channel as well. At this point, I just want to thank everyone for the amazing support that you guys have given me over this entire month and last month. In the last couple of weeks, my channel has gotten over 4,000 more subscribers, which is absolutely phenomenal of a growth for me. And I just really appreciate you guys giving me the support as always to keep making these videos. You guys just mean the world to me. I cannot express it enough. And please join me next time as we analyze everything Bluey. Once again, I'm at a point where I'm not sure what to say when my next video will be because I just have so many different ideas I want to execute. So it feels like I'm just gonna have to pick one randomly to do. But don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any new video that I make. At this point, I just want to showcase some amazing art that was sent to me by the people within the community, with the first one being from Roasted. Now Roasted drew this amazing art of me in the South Park style, and I felt like this was the perfect opportunity to show it because Bentendo has that South Park avatar, but I just really thought it was really cute and really funny to see a Bluey art style mixed with South Park. It's something I was never expecting to see, but they did a phenomenal job with this piece. This next one is by the YouTuber Mango, and I don't even know how to fully express this, but dang, their lighting is absolutely peak. It's like so freaking good. I don't even know what to fully say. The waterfall in the back's amazing. The way how the light reflects off the ground is phenomenal, and the sunglasses being kind of Garen Lagann-like, I suppose. It's just all really, really awesome. And finally, this one is by Lou Lucky. Now, Lou Lucky drew me and just Jack hanging out. It looks like we're greeting for the first time, and Jack looks absolutely freaking stoked with the tail wagging. It just makes me really happy whenever I see an art piece with me and Jack. And I really love how chunky they drew everyone here. I've always had a certain appeal for art styles that had rounded edges, and this one kind of kicks it up a notch and makes everyone looks a little chunky, and I absolutely love that. And I love the little accents of colors they add around the body with little blue streaks on my body there, and the amazing lighting effect that they have on my glasses. It's a phenomenal piece. Make sure to check out these talented artists in the community. All of their pages will be in the description within this video, and I just really, really appreciate them taking the time out of their day to make these amazing art pieces for me. And if you'd also like to send me an art piece or even just send me a message, you can DM me on my Twitter, which should be floating on the screen here. And just a big thank you for everyone supporting me to keep making these videos, especially the members who support me as little as $5 a month, which are Rick Iglesias, Hogsmeade, Jonathan, Tasuga, Mr. Kitty, Zach Stryker, Zachary Strawmit, Snowy, Tom of Essex, Jonathan Pate, NZ Gorham, Fluffpaws, Tyler from Texas, Dawson Gray, and Bucktooth19. And if you'd also like to support me, make sure to click the link in the top right or in the comments or description to become a member. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I hope y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.